Well, the ATP finals have come and gone, and wouldn't you know it, Novak Djokovic reigns supreme again. If you were doubting him, have you not learned by now? This man delivers more than anyone else in the history of tennis has when it comes to winning the big titles. And he's done that again here, winning the ATP finals for a record 7th time, 8th year-end number one, and 400 weeks at number one. Just unbelievable dominance from this old guy who is still telling these younger guys, nice try, buddy. It's going to take a little bit more to really stand on top. So we're going to break down how Djokovic did it. Again, we're going to look at kind of more of an analysis of the whole tournament, the flow of it from Sinner beating Djokovic earlier on in the week to Sinner dazzling the crowd, Sinner's beating Rune in 3 long sets to then Djokovic beating Alcaraz. See where all the guys landed at the end of the tournament and kind of how this capped off their individual years. Let's get into it. This is the slice. All right. And this episode of the slice is presented by our friends at SwingVision. SwingVision Tennis is the revolutionary app for tennis players. It's basically tour level technology that you see out on the tour for your weekend matches. You film your match from your iPhone and it automatically tracks your shots, giving you all the stats that you see on TV. And it also does line judge calling better than line judges and allows you to watch back your match in 15 to 20 minutes by automatically cutting out the time between points using AI. You've heard about AI? It's awesome. If you're wondering how you film yourself, well, this is called the swing stick. So this is a contraption they sent us here, and you hang this part basically on the back fence. You stick your iPhone in here. They thought of everything. This is a cover so your iPhone doesn't get too hot. I mean, so you put there, you play your match, you destroy your friend, and then you can watch back, clip out your best shots, and show it off to your friends. So shout out to SwingVision for sending that stick. We're going to put it to use. Anyone who subscribes to the SwingVision Pro using the link below or code THESLICE will get a free swing stick, a free one. It's like $100. So use the code, try it out. If you're a real player, I think it's very worth it. It's better than having, your trashy little videos from on the ground or whatever. Get around it. Make yourself look good. Shout out to them. Shout out to the Nole fam. Your guy on top of the world again. Takes out Jannik Sinner in the final. They had a chuckle about it. But really just another unbelievable show from Djokovic, showing that he's just on another level. He's been on another level for a long time. And I think it clearly shows that on a fast indoor court, he's definitely in another planet. Not on another planet because he obviously lost to Sinner this week, and we'll get into that. But he's at a different level than the next gen guys. And I think a lot of that has to do with the variety and the maturity and the depth of his game. To me, watching quick court tennis compared to a slower court like a clay or slower hard court, it takes more nuance to your game, more experience to be good on these quicker courts because most of the courts are slower now, and B, you have less reaction time. It takes more instinct, I think, to play well on a fast court, and Djokovic has more of that than any of these young players. But that's not to say that Sinner, this man, Jannik Sinner, Carota Boys leader, did not have an amazing week at the ATP finals, beating Djokovic, going 1-1 with Djokovic. And like I said, absolutely dazzling the crowd. So here's how we ended up from the group stages. Red group, Carlos Alcaraz wins the group barely. 3 guys at 2 matches won, 2 matches or 1 match lost. Alcaraz wins it on sets. And on the green group, Sinner came out on top 3-0. Djokovic getting in 2-1 based on the fact that Sinner beat Rune. If Rune had beat Sinner, Djokovic would have been out and Rune would have made the semifinals, but it was not to be. And that's a big deal. So I'm kind of going to, like I said, walk through the big points in this tournament and we will talk about them. So let's do that. The biggest start to this, and I made a video about it, was Sinner beating Djokovic in their round robin match. That was an incredible match. 3 sets, 3 long sets, some of the highest quality tennis you can imagine that's probably ever been played. And my big takeaway, I made a short video about this on Instagram. If you're not following us on Instagram, do that. This match, that match, and this is cherry picking. I don't think there's really a trend here, but it was interesting me to notice. I remember back when Djokovic beat or played Alcaraz in Madrid 2022 last year. And it was the first time that I believe they had played. And the feeling was Alcaraz is so hot right now. What can he do against the top guys? And he came out against Djokovic, and Djokovic played big to him. He tried to fastball Alcaraz, in my opinion. He was hitting like 5 or 6 or 7 miles an hour faster on average with the forehand than Alcaraz was in the first set of that match. And Djokovic won that first set, ended up losing the match, though. Maybe he ran out of steam. Maybe he's just hitting through Alcaraz doesn't work. Then I saw when they played in the round robin here in Turin, Djokovic do the same thing in the round robin against Sinner. He fastballed him. He was hitting huge. For the first few games of that first set, I was like, what are we watching? Djokovic was just teeing off on every shot he could, and they were all landing a foot from the baseline. And he was winning. I definitely think he had the edge at that point in the match. But again, it was unbelievable to watch how Sinner could handle that quality of shot making and not get rattled and stay in these rallies still and win a bunch of them. And as the match went on, Djokovic, you can't keep hitting at that level. It takes a lot of energy to hit that hard, and you're going to start missing more. So the pace came down, and they were able to counterpunch and play equally from the baseline. And then probably by the end, Sinner it was the guy with more power. And obviously, it was a super tight match, just won in the third set tiebreaker. So that match was just an unbelievable, what you want to see in the ATP finals. That's why we come out here, and that's why they play the games. You had Sinner, who had an unbelievable 2023, come through and match up against Djokovic and play his best tennis in front of the Italian crowd, beating Djokovic. It matters. It matters for these young guys. That was the first time Sinner had beaten Djokovic. It matters for his confidence going into 2024. For Djokovic, doesn't really do anything because he's lost so many matches before and been able to come back, find his next level the next day, stay confident with obviously all he's conquered in here or done in his career. But I think for Jannik Sinner, that was a big match. Then Sinner also defeated Rune, which, as we alluded to, was just a pickle. I mean, what did you guys do? Everyone talked about it, but if Sinner loses to Rune, Djokovic was out. So there's pressure on Rune to win because he wants to win, obviously, continue in. Everyone's ultra competitive out there. My belief is that no one would lose on purpose. But Rune had the pressure to win. He's also playing Jannik Sinner. He's playing amazing tennis in front of the Italian crowd. And then you actually are in a pickle if you're Sinner, because if you're planning to make it to the finals of the tournament, you're already guaranteed to be in the semifinals. The last player you want to play again is Novak Djokovic if you're Jannik Sinner. So the thought would cross your mind, do I just play this, conserve energy, lose, basically tank the match? But I do think as an athlete, that's just too unrealistic. I don't think fits in their brain to tank matches, really. We've seen players do it. We've seen Djokovic do it at the end of seasons when kind of nothing matters. You want to get home to your family. Obviously, that's not the case here for a young guy like Sinner. And I'm sure his coaches, Darren Cahill, were saying, just go out there, play your best tennis. But if you're thinking about tournament management, he went out there and played a super long physical match against Rune, won, kept Djokovic alive. And then he went and played a super physical match against Medvedev in the semifinals, won. But Djokovic didn't play a physical match against Alcaraz. He beat him quite easily, 6-2, 6-3, which was, in my opinion, a disappointing match from Alcaraz. Didn't really have his best stuff after the U.S. Open. That did not set Sinner up for success, in my opinion, obviously making it all the way through. But you can only play the match really in front of you. And it's ridiculous to think that I think it's ridiculous that you're going to lose on purpose to try and affect something. That's not good mojo, I don't think. I don't think that's a good mojo as a tennis player. You want to be giving your best effort at all times. You want to be getting the best result you can. And I think as center, you're just like, I'll just beat everyone. I'll beat Djokovic twice if I have to. And didn't seem like he quite had it in the final. Djokovic was great again. And that's that. That's why this tournament is unique. It's got the round robin, and then you could play a player again in the final. Now, Alcaraz losing to Djokovic, losing to Zverev in the round robin. Just a little bit, obviously, of a let off from the hype of last year, winning the US Open, getting number one in the world, the hype of this year, beating Djokovic in the Wimbledon final. There has to be a let off from there. Unless Alcaraz just continues to win every major, continually beat Djokovic, never lose to him again, there'd be no let off there. But there's really only one direction to go from the top, which is down. And at 20, pretending like he's going to sustain the level that he finds often probably isn't realistic. So again, am I worried? I made a video 2 episodes ago. Is Carlos Alcaraz in a slump? My answer is no, he's not. He's going to be fine. I think it's going to be great for him to recharge, rest up, and come at it full force. I hope he doesn't play any exhibitions. I hope he just chills out in Spain. Maybe he'll go down to Mallorca, hang out with Rafa, and recharge, because it looks like he needs it. And we want to see him at his best, because that's blockbuster when he's at his best. So Djokovic goes through Carlos, and then Djokovic defeats Sinner in the final. And he did it as the about 15 years older, 13 aces, 70% first serves in. Unbelievable effectiveness on his first serve, 91% winning the points on his first serve, 64% on his second serve. Sinner didn't have a great serving match, or Djokovic had one of the best returning performances, or just returned like he can. Probably a bit of both. And yeah, it was clear that Djokovic just had more on the day and played the better match. 6-3, 6-3 in the final of the ATP finals. And that's why Djokovic is still on top. He's saying, come at me, boys. You're going to have to take it. You know, the questions to him in the press conferences, how are you still motivated? And they're like, you can't really do better than what you've done. And he's like, well, I could win all 4 majors and I could win the Olympics. So he's still got the drive. And he said, as long as I'm healthy and able to beat everyone, I'm going to keep playing, and I want to get every record. I want to win every tournament I play, and I'm not going to stop until I can't do it anymore, which makes total sense. And I do think, we've seen it this year. Alcaraz beats him in the Wimbledon final. Sinner beats him at the ATP finals. All these guys can beat him. They're just not doing it consistently, which is fair, because he's not going away. He doesn't have to. He's 36. He's kept himself in amazing shape, and he's the year-end number one again for an 8th time. He's won this tournament for the 7th time, and he's at 400 weeks and counting going into 2024. So, this guy is just unbelievable. You can't say enough. And yeah, what are your thoughts on the tournament? ATP Finals 2023. Last thing we'll say are, just looking at their year, Djokovic had an unbelievable year. It's just like the 2021 season. 3 majors, year number one. Unbelievable. He's obviously the number 1 player of 2023. Number 2 player has to be Carlos Alcaraz. He won a major. He had big moments of glory. He won Wimbledon and didn't play his best for seemingly a lot of the year. After the US Open, even at the US Open, he was injured during the first part of the year a bit. Didn't play at the Australian Open. So he's the second best player of the 2023 for sure, but he didn't have his best year for sure. And then it's a toss-up to me. Sinner, Medvedev. Who played better, or who had a better year? In a way, you've got to say Sinner, because he improved the most. He had, in my belief, a breakthrough year. And I did tweet out, Jannik Sinner's winning a major in 2024. Now, based on my record, that's just going to jinx him, and he probably will have a down year. That's what happened with our friend Felix Auger-Aliassime, who I may have made the same claim with, but really, to me, Sinner really took it up a notch. Getting a win over Djokovic at the ATP finals in a quality match, winning another Masters 1000, winning multiple tournaments, just clearly has put himself in the top group of players on the ATP tour with Medvedev, who also had a great year. The rest of the guys like Sinner and Alcaraz have fully caught up to Medvedev. He was number one player in the world. I'm not sure if I'll ever get there again, but you can never sleep on him. He's going to be a player who for a while still is going to be, I think, at the top of the game. And his game is going to continue to get more interesting. And he's one of the best characters in the tennis world, probably the funniest player, in my opinion. So the other guys, Holger Rune, weird year, weird end of the year. Can he turn it around for 2024? Of course he can. He's a beast. He's an absolute beast. Zverev, great redemption year after snapping his ankle last year, worked his way into the ATP finals. You got to say that's a positive win, positive year for Zverev. And I bet you anything he feels confident about getting back in the top 5 next year, competing for majors again, and really getting back to where he was before that crazy freak injury. Tsitsipas, another rough year. Tsitsidosa, feeling like he's taking steps back as far as where he's ranked in the world, and being injured here at the ATP finals was just a brutal way to cap it off. So he's going to be looking forward to next year. He's going to have to go and find ways that he can improve if he doesn't want to get left behind. And you got to think that he's going to be able to do it. He's such a freak athletically. He's so big. He plays the game so well. He's just gone through a bit of a slump here. But everyone's had that in their career. I keep going back to thinking about Djokovic winning his first major 2008, doesn't win another one until 2011. 2011. It's 3 years. He was there. He was playing. He was beating the top guys. He wasn't winning majors, though. Obviously, he was a bit younger than Stefanos, but that's that. Andrei Rublev got to the ATP finals. Frustrating. Obviously, lost all 3 matches. I don't think that says too much about him or anything. We know he's kind of got a bit of a ceiling, I think, physically on the tour. Doesn't have he has the least easy power probably in the entire ATP finals, and that's tough for him. But great guy, great player. He'll be fine. And that's it. Hurkacz. He was there. He got 1 match in. He had a close one against Djokovic. Wouldn't that have been crazy if Hurkacz had came in there and beaten Djokovic? Didn't happen, though. So anyways, that's a wrap-up of the ATP finals. I think some of those guys are going to go away from this tournament feeling great. Obviously, Djokovic, he's at the Davis Cup now, legend, playing for Serbia. Sinner, he's also at the Davis Cup. He's got to be feeling great. Beats Djokovic in front of the Italian crowd. Carlos, I don't think he's feeling great leaving it. I think he's ready for 2024. Medvedev, I don't know. Life's good for him. You can't complain. You really can't complain if you're any of these guys. So let's be honest. Anyways, that's the slice presented by SwingVision. Check out SwingVision, the link below. Use our code if you're going at it. It supports the show, and we appreciate the sponsors. We'll see you guys next time here on the show. We got some off-season videos coming for you, potentially something about the Davis Cup. You never know what Canada's going to do after Canada just won the Billie Jean King Cup. On the women's side, we currently hold both the men's and women's in the World Cups of tennis, which is kind of insane. So we'll see you next time here on the show. Congrats to Nole fam and Djokovic. What a win. What a player. It's unbelievable. See you soon.